You're listening to the Nigel Owens Six Nations Breakfast Podcast from BBC Radio Wales
on BBC Sounds.
Yes, good morning. Nigel Owens with you, taking your calls until 9 o'clock this morning. So get your calls in now if you can. You can call me on 03700 100 110, or you can text as well, 8 10 12. Right then, Andrew Cotter is with this morning, and he feels right to ask you about Scotland's performance against England in a bit. But just before that, Andrew, what did you make of the Wales game out in Ireland, their performance?
I mean, it's amazing to say. It's kind of as you expected when you're talking about the title-winning sides. But I mean, so much has changed over the past year for Wales in terms of personnel that they've lost. And when you go up against Ireland anywhere, they're so well drilled. Everybody in the Ireland side knows exactly what their role is, and combine that with the fact that they're very, very talented players. And people have been talking about, the front rowers and the power of Porter and Tadhg Furlong, but you see the ball players as well. I think they are, they would give New Zealand a good game in New Zealand at the moment, Ireland. And to have, that sort of settled squad, and the squad that they play together largely, all the time, really. They're given a bit of an armchair ride by Leinster and Munster, and the rest of the international. It's a perfect system that Ireland have for international rugby. And all those factors coming together, a side at the top of their game against a side that is in transition, that hoary old word, transition, because a lot of players are injured as well, then it was on the cards that it was going to happen like that. And I think, when you look at Wales, you look at a side that is just uncertain and lacking in confidence. And like in all sports, when you lose a bit of confidence as well, then you're always going to be up against it.
Yeah, and Ireland not only playing very good with the ball, but they also make oppositions play without the ball as well. They're very, very good at controlling the game. Philippa, you were out in Dublin. When you were watching that game, where are the areas you thinking were going wrong?
Yeah, so, Andrew, I like the way that you answered that question about Wales with, because that's kind of what I've been doing all week when people have been asking me, what went wrong? Well, the thing that really stood out for me was their defence, because we really had no ball in attack to really show what we could do. So we saw majority of the time was them defending, but them scrambling. I couldn't really see a clear defensive policy. Some players were shooting, some players were drifting. So I was really surprised that they didn't have what we used to have in Wales is this solid defensive platform. For what we lack in size, we would make up for in organisation and intent. And at times, I just felt it was a bit lacklustre.
How long is it, Philippa, before an enormous cheque is sent the way of Steve Tandy to come back? I mean, you look at the, that's what we talk about. You talk about the French side with Sean Edwards now and Steve Tandy. Scotland have been in a great attacking side over the last few years, but the thing which has changed has been their defence.
Yep.
And we saw that against England. So you would think that, I hope it doesn't happen in the near future as a Scot, but you'd think that it's a natural fit. But of course, every head coach wants to have their own defence coach in place. So and players have to get used to different defence coaches and the way they like to do things. But my goodness, Steve Tandy's working wonders up there.
No, he definitely is, that's for sure. He's a great coach when he was with the Ospreys as well. Right then, we're going to go to the lines. Now then, we've got Lofty, and Lofty is on the line, and you're from Cardiff, Lofty. You weren't named after Lofty from Coronation Street, were you, by any chance?
No, I wasn't. Thank you
that's all right then. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I just want to say, for me, this is an honour and a privilege to speak to the greatest referee of all time.
Oh, yeah, the honour is ours for you phoning in.
You're very welcome, Lofty.
And can I also say that I think Philippa's comments have been excellent. His analysis over the last, since she's been on telly, has been superb.
Oh, so thank you very much.
Hey, the way you're going, Lofty, you'll be coming on this programme every week now. You were disappointed with the game, obviously, weren't you?
Very disappointed with the game, but as somebody's already mentioned, it was a moment in time where Ireland are playing at the top of their game, and then Wales were playing almost at the bottom of their game, and I see the result was inevitable. But the strange thing is, I spoke to a few people this week, and there is so much optimism for Saturday. You'd almost think that we've won. I think we're going to be playing at the stadium, 75,000 people watching the game, cheering the boys on. The boys know that they owe the nation a good result. And when I say a good result, obviously we want to win. But if we put in a performance and we put in a structure where the forwards look like they know what they're doing, the backs know what they're doing, and we can actually sit back and say, right, I was really pleased with that performance. Because at this moment in time, I feel like we're almost like a barbarian side now. Nobody knows what they're doing. As you say, different centres, different combinations, players being brought in. I mean, I would like to see consistency now. So my question is FIFA going to use this Six Nations now as a building block for the World Cup and just try different combinations? Because we've only got 19 months now. I'm looking for consistency.
Yeah, it's when your confidence is down like that, you're scrambling as a player, or even when you're refereeing, you're desperate to put things right, and then you're scrambling, and it looks a bit desperate on that field then, and maybe as well with Wade with his selection, he's desperately now trying to get a bit of structure and a bit of confidence and a win as well, and I think we'll ask Philippa here now. It's a very, very difficult balance to get in. If you want to go to the World Cup with confidence and challenge for that big prize, you not only need to be playing well, but you need to have built up confidence. And confidence comes, as we saw in the past two Wales, with winning. So, Philippa, where are you on this? Are you on a Six Nations that the performances is what's more important, or will you sort of put up with the performances, not quite where you want it, but you're happy with the results?
No, I think at this stage out from the World Cup, for me, it is about performances. And that was like the most frustrating thing in Ireland was, I had no illusions that we were going to win. I was very much sure of the fact that we were going to lose, but it was just getting that performance, just seeing players playing or trying to play some kind of game plan. So, look, I think this is still really a valuable experience for these players as long as the review is there and they are dealt with and they are, supported through this time. Because at the moment, coming off a loss like that, it is going to knock individuals' confidence. And that's not what this should be about. It should be about building their confidence. Even if they don't get those wins, if they're getting the performances, then we are still increasing our strength and depth, which would be a good thing going into that World Cup.
I agree. The question is now is, if we win against Scotland, do we keep the same side end to play England, or will he be looking to try a different combination? My concern is the back row. I think I'm going back only a couple of seasons ago. Wales picked the back row. We were picked Warburton, Lydiate and Faletau, the world's greatest back row. Now we're looking at chopping and changing. If we bring in this young Jack Morgan and he has a stormer, do we then not pick Ellis Jenkins for the England game? Or are we looking to rotate? Or are we going to start picking a team to counter them rather than play to our strength?
Yeah, cheers, Lofty. Some very good points by you there. Hey, thanks for phoning in. We'll speak to you again soon, I'm sure. Right then, Philippa, how can they get in touch with us on the text and stuff this morning?
Yeah, they can call us on 03700 100 110. They can text on 8 10 12. And we have actually had a text message come in. A little warning to any front rowers out there, put your fingers in your ears. As Anon says, is there any point in having the bump and grind of the scrum, especially as the scrum half puts the ball into the second row? Uncontested scrums would speed up play, reduce drinks breaks, and stop teams using it as a source to generate penalties, resulting in easy defensive escapes and gifting good attacking field position. This is without considering the safety aspects.
Ooh, some strong words there.
Yeah, that's rugby league, isn't it, basically? Yeah. Take away a couple of players and that's pretty much rugby league. So, we can't do that to the big lads. That's not fair. That's all they've got. So.
Well, that's what makes rugby so special. It is a game for all shapes and sizes, isn't it, really? And you've got to remember as well, when you have the scrum, you have then got 16 players in that scrum. So the amount of space that is opened up by having them in that scrum is huge. So, it is a good attacking platform. Yeah, the scrum couldn't be better. We just need to make sure that we referee it. We just make sure the players play within the laws. And I do agree, and I was as guilty as anybody, but we certainly do need to be better at refereeing the scrum feed, that's for sure. Right, then we're going to go to Erika now, who's on the phone. And Erika, you are in Italy, are you?
Boreda, Nigel, yes.
Oh, Boreda.
The only word I know, so please don't challenge me on the other word, please.
Now, you've played, Erika, you've played for Italy for quite a few seasons, haven't you? For Italy women, I hear?
Yeah, I played 21 years, and in reality, 12 for Italy. The first World Cup in 1991, and my last World Cup was in 2002. But yes, I stopped in my 40s. So like a dinosaur.
Oh, So, and what are you doing now? You're doing some great work now. Some work now on a new project, which is bringing quite a positive impact into rugby. I hear. Are you?
Yes, I'm working to a project that is called Women's Rugby Land of Freedom, who sow the seeds of rugby with future. This is the title because I'm really convinced that rugby and sports can really impact positively on the everyday life. And so, if I have to think to the match of Sunday, where Italy meet for the 28th time England, and England have always beat us. This is, the story about David and Goliath. So you feel that you don't have the history on that supports you, but you are fire in the eyes. This is mindset.
And tell me, Erika, what did you make of the, before I'm going to ask you a little bit about Italy against England in a moment, what did you make of the opening weekend of the Six Nations? What did you think of the Wales performance? And certainly Italy looked much better this year than they've done the last couple of years, I've got to say. But what do you think of Wales over in Dublin?
I think that the first round out really interesting, and that teaches to everybody that nothing is for granted. So the fact that Scotland with England was incredible, but always the same thing. It depends on how you enter in the pitch, and so it's the same for every match that you play in life and rugby. And so I really look forward to see how the second round goes for this motivation, because until the referee doesn't whistle, everything is possible.
And you would have been pleased. I know that Italy lost out in Paris to a very, very good French side, of course. But you would have been pleased with Italy's performance on the weekend. It certainly showed improvements. What do you fancy the chances are against England at home in Rome as well?
Yes, I think that we had a really good first half, and our defense was good. Perhaps we played a bit that the communication between 9 and 10 was not super good, but Garbisi is really young number 10, and he's got the role and the eyes for picking himself up and doing better for these matches. So the matches against France, obviously France, they kind of play, it was raining, so perhaps they could not move the ball as they wanted. But on the same time, the fact that Italy was so unexpectedly aggressive could give gate to the match as something really emotional, unless for us. For England,
Now, Erika, before I say thank you and let you go, I know you're going to be supporting Italy on Sunday against England, but before I go back to Andrew Cotter, who are you going to be supporting in Cardiff? Are you supporting Wales or Scotland, or you don't mind who wins?
Careful.
I'm supporting the good game, so I like that everybody will surprise us and make everybody think that rugby is a wonderful sport.
Oh, lovely. Thank you, Erika. All the best. Thanks for putting in, Erika. All the best to you. Bye-bye.
Everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And, of course, if you want to get in touch with us, please do. You can call us on 03700 100 110. You can also text on 81012, or you can email nigel@bbc.co.uk. Now, Andrew Cotter. I have to say, sitting next door but one to you, working on the game up in Murrayfield last week. Now, I know you're a Scotsman, you're a proud Scotsman, and you want Scotland to win, but I've got to say, you did your job brilliantly professional. Now, what do you think Scotland's chances are in Cardiff? Are you very quietly confident, like a lot, or like everybody from Scotland is, I think?
Never confident because I'm Scottish, so that's not true. We've got, at the moment, Scotland have a side which I think gets better with every year. I think Jamie Ritchie is a big loss. I mean, I'm speaking to people from a country who've lost far more players than that, but Jamie Ritchie is a big loss at the breakdown. You talked about the breakdown battle. I'm very sad to see him out for the whole tournament. He brings a lot of fire to the side as well. But I do think that this Scotland side, if this Scotland side can't go to Cardiff now and win, then when? Because that's Wales are, relatively speaking, in a bit of trouble. That's a bit dramatic. They're not in trouble, but you know what I mean. They are. We talked about transition. They are trying to find their manner of play, and they're missing so many players. So Scotland can't go there and win now. I know they won at Parc des Scarlets a couple of years ago, but to win in Cardiff for the first time since 2002, that's the sort of hex that they have on them. The hoodoo. They don't know what it's like to win. None of these players know what it's like to win in front of 70,000 people at the Principality. I was there in 2002. I think with a couple of Gordon Bullock tries, and I remember interviewing Ian McGeechan afterwards and saying, "Yeah, it wasn't a great performance, though, was it?" Some words to that effect, which mild-mannered Ian even took offence at. But the point was that we did win in Cardiff, not regularly, but we were used to it. So it was whereas now, any performance at all to win in Cardiff, you'd be shouting from the rooftops for Scotland. But this side, if they cannot exploit the talent they have and can't exploit the troubles at the Welsh side at the moment, then this would be a real step backwards for Scotland. I just think this is a golden opportunity for Scotland to make it 2 wins and to take that into France at Murrayfield. That's Scotland could compete for the title. I still think they're a little bit behind Ireland and France in particular, but they're getting there.
I think that the back row battle, I think, could be key on the weekend. And I know the front five and the scrummaging, but it depends how many scrummages are in the game, how many mistakes the teams make. But Scotland always compete that contact there. I went to the Calcutta Cup, and that's where they beat England back in 2018, was they competed back. He was over the ball, and Wales is going to be the same. So it's going to be a huge area of the game on Saturday. And also as well, if I'm honest, I thought England were probably the better side, and the side that looked like they were going to win for 65 minutes. So it's going to be really interesting to see what Scotland turns up. Are they really as good as a lot of people are thinking, or is there still a bit of work to be done again? Philippa, remind us of the numbers and how people get in touch. And I think you've got a few texts and emails as well, have you?
We have, yeah, absolutely. So just to remind you, you can call us on 03700 100 110, or you can text on 81012. So we've had an email through. Hi, Nigel and the team. Scotland were on exceptional form and played really well. England beat them in certain areas, like you're saying, Nigel, like some of the set piece, but the Scottish hands and playing with width pushed England too far, and the crack showed. Obviously, brilliant defence too. I'm looking forward to the next game. Love you, Nigel. Wish me luck for 80 minutes at Hooker on Saturday. First time in nearly a month out.
Enjoy it, and best of luck as well.
Get the hot bath running as soon as you get home, I'd say. We've also had an email from Russ. It's all very well talking about performances, but when you're paying £100 plus, you want to see a win. If WRU want to tinker, then reduce the prices to fit the quality of team. Interesting. Yep. Okay. And there's also a tweet from Maggie, and this is a nice one. Our Wales team are certainly struggling, to be fair, and I think they need supporters more than ever to help lift them during these difficult times. They can take the win tomorrow. Have faith.
That's a very good point, actually. We've got to remember now, every team goes through that transition period. Look at the success Wales has had over the last 10, 15 years. New Zealand will be the same. New Zealand was so successful sort of leading up to 2011, then 2015 World Cup, and pretty much then up to the Lions series. And then those sort of 3 or 4 years after that, they've been a side that haven't quite been as good as they were. So it comes inevitably. So as you said, let's get behind the Welsh team, and sure we will. And I think performance and the win and confidence, they go hand in hand. You need the both for a successful recipe. That's for sure. So lovely to hear from you all. Get in touch again. Andrew, I'm going to ask you, what about the big one out in Paris on weekend? I really am looking forward to watching this one. This one is going to be a massive test match.
Yeah, I mean, I'm commentating on that one. I'm doing Paris and Rome this weekend from Salford, so good times. Do you know what? I mean, Ireland I would have thought would have started almost as even fractional favourites. Then you see Johnny Sexton's out, and yes, the old man Sexton, but he is the figurehead, and he's the boss, and you look to him all the time. Joey Carberry's a great player, but I think that's a big loss. But again, they lose one player, even as good as Sexton, someone else steps into the role. Everybody knows their roles and plays it so well. I was watching that game that you refereed in 2018 in Paris. 42 phases at the end. Ireland went through before Sexton's dropped goal. And that summed up Ireland in the modern era. They are clinical and efficient, talented, yes, all those things, but they make so few mistakes. Now, France have all these wonderful, wonderful talents. I think they'll go up a significant level from the Italian game, but coming up against it's just such a fascinating encounter. The structure of Ireland. I think it's, I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I just think it'll come down to that sort of couple of points, I think. Like that when people think there's pressure on Sexton taking that drop goal after 45 or 46 phases or whatever it was, believe me, the pressure on the referee in that last 45 phases, making sure that you've got to be consistent. You can't ignore a penalty that you would have given earlier on, or you can't give a penalty which something similar you played on for. So honestly, the pressure on you, making sure that every decision you make, you know that if I make a decision here, it'll probably result in a change of the result of the game. So you've got to make sure you've got to get it right. So the pressure is huge. So I know we're all thinking about the players, but bear in mind about the referee as well now, bless him.
The referee. Absolutely. What a drop goal that was, though, 45
It's incredible.
It was incredible. I remember refereeing, Andrew, I did Munster against Northampton out in Thomond Park, and O'Gara did exactly the same after about 43 phases as well. So there's something about the outside half sometimes with drop goal. Philip, are they saying anything on the text and tweets?
Yeah, we've got another email in from Keith in Peterborough. Morning, Nigel. Are your comments about rugby being for all sizes? I think this is still true at club rugby, but not so much at first class or international level.
That's a good point, Philippa, because when you get to the professional level, particularly international level as well, you will change a player's body shape, because they'll train the weights, the fitness and everything, so you will change. But you still need, the tall, you still need, you have the likes of Adam Jones in the front row. You need to have the scrum so this game is very unique, it's very special, and that's what makes it special. Not only is it a game for all on the field, it's a game for everybody off the field as well, and we must never lose that. So I think the scrum still needs to be an important part of the game, I think.
Yeah, what would Uini Atonio do for sport if he didn't have rugby union in the scrums? I mean, that's and also these players, the bigger players, know they're really going to play 60 minutes, aren't they? That's pretty much it, front row guys. So I think there's still room for the 130 kilo guys. Bless them.
Yeah, that's very true. Right then, we're going to go to predictions now. Look, every week at the end of the show, I'm going to give you my predictions, which, for those of you who haven't noticed, were all correct last week. But here are the games coming up over the next few days for you. Wales against Scotland, France against Ireland, Italy against England on Sunday. Now, I'd love you to get involved too. What are your predictions? Tweet us at BBC Radio Wales. And my predictions this week are, I am going to go for Wales in Cardiff, only just. I'm going to go for France, home advantage, swinging that one. And then I'm going to go for, I know Italy have improved, I just can't see them beating England for the first time ever, but you never know. So Wales, France and England for me. Andrew, what about you?
England by maybe 15, pulling away towards the end, 15-20. Close for a while. France by 5, and I'm not going to predict Wales Scotland. I'll leave Mabel to predict Wales against Scotland. So you can see she's riveted by it. So I will say, Mabel says, let sleeping dogs lie. Let sleeping dogs lie. I'll say Scotland by 3, and that's it.
Oh, right then. We'll see. Philippa?
Yeah, I'm going to go for France just edging it. I think home advantage, and without Johnny Sexton, I just can't see Ireland doing that. Again, I'm going to say England, sorry, not Italy. As much as we have seen improvements from them, England are still too strong. And I hate to say it, but the stats, the form, I'm actually going to say Scotland.
Oh, wow.
Get me going out of Wales.
I'm going to
You've been listening to Mabel as well now.
Yeah.
Right then. Hey, thank you very much. We've come to the end of this week's show. Thanks for all your calls, texts and tweets. And Andrew, a big thank you for you, and to Philippa as always as well. Thanks very, very much. Now, I'll be back next Friday, same time, same place, 8:30, and as we say here in West Wales, 8:30. Now, kick-off tomorrow between Wales and Scotland is at 2:15, remember, and we'll have every game of Wales live on BBC Radio Wales and on BBC Sounds as well.
Hear Nigel Owens' Six Nations Breakfast live every Friday morning from 8:30
on BBC Radio Wales.
Time out! Advantage over!
Listen on BBC Sounds.